Board. So once again, welcome everyone for this webinar. So tonight I'm going to be presenting a great coaching tool that really inspired me when I initially learned about it. And since then, in my coaching practice, I've encountered a lot of people, and they're experiencing a lot of time a lack of clarity, especially when it comes to work around the meaning or the purpose that the person would have in their professional lives as a whole. And what I found as well is that my experience is that people want to find a way to contribute and have a more positive impact on the world, but not necessarily being sure on how to do this. So this is why I wanted to share about this coaching tool coming from Japan, coming from the Japanese culture. And I found it really, really useful in my work in career coaching and in entrepreneurial coaching to reveal what it's important for you and your vision of the world. As sometimes we can have tendencies to look for solutions and the answers outside of us, while the Ikigai really invites us to look back inside. So it points the direction back to what's there inside of you. So, as I said, I'm going to be providing an editable document so that you can use the tool after this presentation, and I hope mainly to inspire you to get more clarity in your life. So that's really my point always in my presentations, is to share this inspiration so that everyone can take even the first step towards growth. So I'm going to start by giving a short presentation about myself. Most of you know me from previous presentations, so I'll keep it short. But I am a certified coach, and I love working with people internationally. Lots of expats. I coach mainly in English and a little bit in French. Recently, once in Spanish. So that was a great experience. That's new, and I'm really, really glad to be able to connect with this international community, as I'm myself an expat. I'm from France, living in the UK. I've lived in different countries over the years, and it's really something very important for me that I really need to embrace this openness to different cultures, to different languages, this international mindset. It's really, really key for me. And just to give you a little outlook on my career, initially I was a language teacher, so that's what enabled me to discover also expatriation and to learn languages, discover the world. Lived in India, in Spain, in Colombia, so that was I was a bit of a globetrotter for 5 years. And then I had my first experience as an entrepreneur and created a bilingual nursery. Which for me still is about sharing and guiding and supporting. So there was already some kind of seed that led me later on towards coaching. And I realized that what I loved doing most in that part of the job was also working with the parents, because of course we had a lot of expat families coming for their children at the nursery, and I loved the evening, having the time talking about the parents, understanding their lives, understanding their business and their career problems. So this is what gradually led me to actually realize that this is what I wanted to do. And the nursery is still a big success. I'm still working. I found someone to take over me and switched and trained as a coach. And now I'm really enjoying that work as a career entrepreneur and mindset coach. I really work on those different dimensions to help people thrive professionally. So I work with individuals, I work with business owners, and one of the things that I particularly enjoy doing, one of my specialties, is helping people transition from employment to creating their own business. And I work a lot with women who are working towards creating their business, launching their business in well-being or in therapy. So that's really something I enjoy, because I love the fact that I'm having a big impact also through the impact that they're having with their own clients. So it's like multiplying the impact, which is very, very nice. And in terms of purpose and meaning, it is really big for me. So just to start with, I wanted to tell you a little bit of the perspective of where the Ikigai comes from, and maybe for me how it can be included in a bigger perspective in this cultural perspective from the Eastern culture that is traditionally quite deep. And what I think the Ikigai for me brings is this focus on happiness and on the way to see happiness in a different way. In the Western world, there is this idea of happiness being your peak experiences, these exaltations, maybe being high, maybe partying. If we do a little bit of a stereotype and we imagine maybe a very sort of Americanized way of seeing happiness, and what you're not happy if you're not partying on the yacht every Saturday afternoon. So which is quite different to the invitation that I like about the Eastern culture and the ancient traditions, which is more seeing happiness as more something consistent, like contentment or even serenity, as something that's more long lasting, and that you can also have in your life by the simple things, the happiness via also little things in your life, and not necessarily big exalted moments. Although it's amazing to have excitement, I'm really not saying that you shouldn't have excitement in your life, but I like how Ikigai is actually also the invitation to calm things down, to go back to yourself, to go back inwards. There is for me this idea of seeing how with the Ikigai how I'm connected also with the world. Like I mentioned already, this idea of contribution. So it's also this invitation of maybe seeing the things that as not separated. I'm me part of that world, and finding also my place. And if I find my place, then naturally the contentment is gonna come from that. So these are the beautiful Japanese characters to spell Ikigai. So it means a reason for being. It is also being translated by a reason to get up in the morning. There are different ways to translate from Japanese. Iki means life, and gai or kai is the value. So we could always also say that it could be the idea of the value in living. So the value, I really love the word value actually, when it comes to work or even for life, because I really believe that working is creating some value and receiving some value. So I found that this keyword of value is really bringing a lot of meaning for me. Value in living, happiness in living. So it's about finding your purpose, finding what brings fulfillment for you. And what's amazing as well is that, of course, it can be connected to work, but not necessarily. And this is also where the Ikigai considers things not as separate spheres. You in life, actually, nothing is separate. Your happiness in your life is a whole. It's more of a holistic sort of perspective, which I really like, because we are not fragmented between work and personal life. Your job and who you are, we are the same. We are the same being. We are a complex, holistic persons. So I think this is also the invitation overall that I see in the Ikigai. This idea of integration, maybe this idea of consistency in your life, and how you can bring who you truly are in everything that you do. So that was my sort of my perspective, or my reading also via through this concept and this and what was brought up by these traditions. And in my coaching experience with my clients, what I've discovered it's really an amazing process of discovery. It's a great exploration, and I'm going to invite you to try to be as free from your thoughts as possible while you're considering this exercise. So really being anchored if you can, maybe connecting with your breathing, and seeing if you can really free your mind, maybe from your thoughts, and connecting to your intuitions rather than your thinking mind. It's always useful in coaching. So I'm going to tell you about a common way maybe to use the Ikigai. So it can be also different if you use it on your own, and if you use it with a coach. Of course, the coach will be here to guide you with questions. So it can be a little bit different to the fact that you're doing it with someone else. So I'll try to provide tips also to be able to use it, to be able to use that on your own. And so to start with, we're going to start with this very simple representation. So as you can see, the Ikigai is very visual, and it's connecting everything together, right? So you've got those different big circles. So we're going to be looking at the outside circles for now. So you can see on the top, you've got you love it. So this sphere is going to be looking at what you love. Then on the left, you've got you are great at. So that's considering all the things that you are good at. Then you've got on the right what the world needs, which is actually a very powerful a section of the Ikigai. And at the bottom, what you can be paid for. And in intersections of those spheres, then you've got the mission, the passion, the profession, and the vocation. And some people also use this tool saying what you've got in common with all these different things then become your purpose, which is not really my approach to the Ikigai. I am not looking at the Ikigai for one sort of magic sort of word that's going to solve everything for me. I really believe more in the exploration and what you learn about yourself along the way and how things sort of coordinate, rather than, okay, this is my Ikigai, this is my purpose, this is my meaning in life, and it must look this way. Because actually we realize when we do this exercise that there can be different ways. There can be different ways that it could be like for you, and we are more complex than to be reduced to only one little small thing. But again, this is my experience with it. Maybe your experience with it will be different. So you'll be free to see and explore for yourself with maybe some of these suggestions. So you can actually start by. Sorry about that. You can actually start by drawing 4 lines and making 4 boxes and writing those 4 questions down. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what can you get paid for? So you can, of course, you can write things down if you want. I will be providing an exhaustive list of questions written down in the document. So don't worry about maybe writing everything. You're going to see another document with a lot more questions to guide you. So don't worry too much about writing everything. Just for you to know. So this can be a good starting point to write your ideas down. And to be a bit more specific and maybe give you a bit more guidance, it can be interesting to look as well at as those questions. So I'm not going to read all of them, and again I will be providing this document so you will have it, but I will give you some of the examples for each category that can be with the Ikigai as well. There's a way to to sort of tickle things in an original way, so maybe to explore things that you don't usually explore. So for example, for the category what do you love, you can be asking yourselves questions such as, what have you always been drawn back over time? What do you always go back to? Okay, so that can be a question that maybe we don't consider every day. Or in the section, what are you good at? You can be looking at what unique skills do you have that come naturally to you? What are you great at? Very naturally, even if you're not trying to be great, you're very talented at it. So that can be interesting. What the world needs, I really love this part of the Ikigai. For some people, it can be a bit overwhelming. So my advice could be, if you're not sure, or what does the world need? What does that got to do with me? And how can I provide things to the world? You can consider maybe your world, in a sense that it could be the people around you, the people that are close to you or in your community. and looking at what are they like and what would they need, how could you contribute to them. So if it's a bit overwhelming for you to consider the world as a whole, you can take this sort of small step. And just an example for the section, what can I be paid for? So it can be what you can be paid for, what you've been paid for before, what you could be doing if you went in your current job, but also what would you want to be paid for. So it's not necessarily stuck to the situation you're at and with the skills that you're at. You can also it's also for the skills, what are you good at? There's also this question, what would you like to be good at? So it doesn't have to be limited to what already is. It can also be open to possibilities. So it could be a great start to follow this. And so a traditional way to do the Ikigai, if you do it on your own or if you look on the internet, they would say, okay, so you fill up those 4 categories and you write some keywords, and the one thing that is in common in the 4 boxes, then that's your Ikigai. So you can find example, for example, saying, okay, so you like writing, you've got something about writing in each category. Okay, so you're a writer. So this is why I find it a little bit limited, because it is beyond that. I believe we are beyond that. And writing, the example of writing is a good one, because it can be in so many ways. It can be journalism. So many things nowadays include writing in a creative way. So it's not really, for me, it's not really the point of the exploration that the Ikigai can bring. So I wanted to also give you maybe a little bit of a how to go maybe a bit further with the Ikigai and what I've explored myself with my practice, because I really believe that it can be an amazing diagnostic sort of tool to explore and also to get inspiration in terms of the direction we can be taking. So understanding what the problem is, or more specifically, where the unbalance is. What I've realized is that usually when people want to work and want to redirect their lives, that is because they realize there is something that's not balanced. They don't have the balance. At somewhere in the Ikigai, there's something that's not balanced, that they're not paying enough attention to, for example. And in this little representation, you can see that it's showing with the little lines and arrows. If your life is too much close to what you are good at, for example, you will get satisfaction, but you will not feel useful. Yeah. So you're great at your job, you're great at what you do, but you don't feel that you are contributed to your highest potential. You're not feeling that you're bringing the skills that you want to bring to the world sufficiently. Yeah. So you can see if you are if your life is more towards the what I can be paid for, you can be comfortable, but you can have a feeling of feeling empty. Yeah. So that shows an unbalance. So depending on where you are, if you're close to what the world needs, then you will have excitement, but maybe there's a sense of uncertainty. Maybe there's not enough security in your life to create the balance for you to thrive. So it can be very common, especially people that stay in a job that they're good at. That's something that I hear a lot. I'm good at that job. I'm used to it. I've been doing that for many years, and I, maybe even initially, maybe I didn't even choose it. I got an internship. I got an opportunity, and then one thing led to another, and here I am in this career after so many years. So that's something that is quite common. And also, this is a job I can be paid for, so it's comfortable. But I I don't know why I do it. I do it because I can do it, not because I want to do it. So it's the most common. There are also, and that's also a profile that I've encountered, people that are doing what they love, but they're not maybe necessarily making enough value from it. So maybe not getting the income that they need to secure their life and to support the life that they want. So that also can be an imbalance. I'm thinking, for example, for people in the wellness industry or in the well-being industry, finding it difficult to charge for the services. That's something that I encounter quite often. Like I'm thinking, for example, of yoga classes. Oh, I'm doing yoga. This is my mission. This is what I love. I can't be charging people. Yes, but then you cannot pay your bills. So you do want to be charging. So there's a rebalancing to be done, for example, in this situation as well. So I guess I'm hoping that you can see how this tool can be a bit more than just the 4 boxes that were drawn earlier. And I'm going to be sharing now more specifically some examples of some real coaching and some real Ikigais that I've been doing with clients. So I asked them if it was okay for me to share with you their Ikigai. So it's going to be anonymous, of course. There's going to be client 1, client 2. I'm going to be showing also my Ikigai. So my point here is to try to demonstrate a little bit of what I would get out of an Ikigai and how it can be different from one person to another. And I really use it as a coaching tool. So if you're a little bit familiar with coaching, you know that one of the main processes of coaching is really to guide through questions and to go with the client, and to use the questions of the coach are really like a mirror to try for the client to get perspective and to guide the person into self-discovery and self-growth. So this is really how I use the Ikigai, and I like to also look at the passion, the mission, the profession, and the vocation, which were the outer circle of the Ikigai part, which I believe really bring a lot of perspective. This is one of the main points of the Ikigai. So let me show you. Start with my Ikigai. So this is what the template is going to look like, the template I'm going to be providing. So for me, what the Ikigai brought for me, and again, this is a good opportunity as well for me to tell you that it doesn't have to be set in stone. It can be something that can evolve. It can be an Ikigai at this point in time for you, and it can be something that you go back to and you rework on. And for me, it was really helpful to confirm my overall direction. This is really how, like a little bit like a compass. This is the value I got from the Ikigai, and realizing that so that you found that in the passion actually corner it's what I like is the modality of sharing, the sharing and the supporting, and that's been there for me actually in the different careers that I had, in teaching, in the nursery, and now in coaching. So there's this big idea for me, which can be, if you want, the common theme, and what I needed as well when I started, because that Ikigai I did when I was starting my coaching training, was to confirm, okay, what could I be doing? Could I be more like going towards meditation or spirituality or teaching or coaching? So this really enabled me to sort of make sense also of it all, and make sense of my person as a holistic complex being, and confirm my direction. So that was my Ikigai. We're going to be looking now at client number 1. So what came up for, I hope that you can see well enough, and that is big enough for reading. What came up for client 1, what was really sort of a big realization, what came up for the mission aspect, because he realized that he was lacking some of the things that he really needed for to thrive, to get this fulfillment. So he had been working in project management in IT for a lot of years, and realized that he needed three things in his life as in general. He needed the idea of building, the creativity and in building something. So the project management aspect is really fits in that respect. But he also needed to improve things for people's life, not only for companies' purposes, but he wants and he needs to have an impact on people's life more directly. And he wants to do that while bringing some kind of joy, some kind of entertainment, something positive to their lives. And these two aspects are completely missing in his life. So it was interesting for him, because it actually brought up things not only on the professional level. So, for example, then he had some ideas of what other types of project management roles he could be having, maybe in different industries, so that he could use the experience and capitalize on the experience he had so many years of as a project manager, but switch into another industry to maybe have a different sort of impact and doing something else than the IT industry, to maybe bring more of that direct impact into person's life. So that was really interesting for him, also as realizing that he'd been also forgetting those aspects in his personal life. So that made him reflect also on the volunteering perspective, or the other activities that he could be doing, so that he actually got it as a balance. So again, going back to this idea of balance, that enabled him to realize what were the important pillars and what was missing. So there might not be only one solution again for one person, or the solution can be changing, or there can be a long-term plan and a short-term plan, etc. But I really love how it's been quite clear for him that was the most important information he got from doing this together. Okay, so moving on to client number 2. And what was really interesting for her was to reveal actually what was quite unique in the way she was approaching her work, a unique talent and motivation. She'd had a long career in working with charities, and it was fascinating to see as well, through the session, like she was getting also more confidence with her skills, and she was realizing that what she loves to do, that is bringing the best out of people, and making a difference, but doing that with lightness and with fun. And she'd been working with projects and dealing with wars and difficult social situations. So we could be expecting quite heavy sort of subject, but she's always managed to find ways to bring some light, to bring some fun, and that is, in a way, she was realizing by doing the Ikigai, that it's sort of a signature. So she's a huge leader. She brings people with her. So she's got amazing leading skills and amazing leading potential, in a style that is very specific to her, and that might not be so common if we consider other CEOs and leadership skills and as a general. So it was for her, what came out of that is that she realized that she could actually take ownership of this own style, actually own it, and actually make something and find a place or create her own business where these skills could be used to its maximum potential. And that was for her, for example, that brought a lot of clarity, and so that she could adjust the direction that she would be taking. So these were some of my little examples. To finish, I'd like to make the connections maybe with the Ikigai and the entrepreneurs. And I found that that was something very, very interesting for people that are an entrepreneurial sort of project or entrepreneurial desires, to consider the Ikigai at the quite early on actually stage of the project. As I said at the beginning, for a business idea or for a business project, people tend to have the first sort of reflex to look outside and to say, oh, what's the new market trend? You know, what would work? Like what could make a lot of money? While with the Ikigai, if we're looking at building more fulfillment, you know, if we're looking at finding that balance, that purpose, that meaning, I would say it can be amazing to consider actually the why. And if you're interested more specifically, I could be sending you as well the link of the other webinar that I've done more specifically on how to start an entrepreneurial project, how to start as an entrepreneur. But I really love the fact that that entrepreneur has this capacity to create their dream job, their dream career, and while doing that, bringing value to the world exactly in the way that they were supposed to, and just perfectly finding the place to contribute to the world in the way that fits their skills, that fits their balance, that fits their life. There's this, for me, there's this alignment of purpose, of action, of value, sort of everything brought together with this type of perspective. So that's why I like to use this little triangle to use it. So if you're building an entrepreneurial project, it's better to start with the why. Why are you doing that? What is your unique message, your unique skills that you're bringing to the world, your message, and then to give you, to put you in that direction. The Ikigai can be absolutely amazing. It can give you not only just one idea maybe, but several ideas that you can explore, so that you can have a starting point for exploring this why. And the more you're authentic as well with that, the more it's going to resonate, and the bigger the success. You know, they say that in marketing at the moment, the best branding, you know, the personal branding is the most honest, and the branding that comes from the heart, we could say. So starting with the why can really help, and it's something that's usually overlooked or done too quickly. So again, looking inside at this stage. And then you can work on the what. So what am I doing? What is that business going to be? What is my offer going to be? Who am I going to be working with? What my niche would be, etc., or the different type of people I'm going to be working with. And then the how. So the how, you can see that it's at the bottom of the pyramid. So it's probably what is going to take most of your time as an entrepreneur. You're going to be doing a lot about the how. But if you want your business to be properly built, you do need to start with the why, then go with the what, and then with the how. They really sort of work together. And some people, when they start as an entrepreneur, they would be starting already with the how, focusing already on how to do it, what strategy, what marketing strategy, how can I be selling, etc., etc., while they haven't gone through the why and the what. And I think the world sort of needs more conscious entrepreneurs, and that's also bringing value overall to a better world. But that's my opinion. So as a little conclusion, I'd like just to recap some little key points of my tips and my advice on how to get the most of that tool. I would say if you can use it with someone, I'd say it's even better. So of course, a coach can be awesome, but even a friend or your partner, a friend who wants to do it. So you could be partnering and asking yourself each other question. And what can be great as well is that then you would not need to write down things. I think it can really free the mind as well, to not having to worry about taking notes or taking little notes, and the other person can be taking the notes for you. This is the way I work with my clients on the Ikigai. I write down things, etc., on the template, and we discuss it. So that can help with freeing your creativity. Use it as a coaching tool in the sense that it's an exploration. it's an amazing visual framework, but every framework, you know, is also created to be sort of transcended. So don't necessarily stick to the little lines, you know, go beyond sometimes, just use it as an exploration tool. Yes, see if you can get some diagnostic or some understanding or what's not working for you, how you can improve your balance, maybe what you are not seeing. That was also my experience with my clients. They were discovering things or seeing things that they could not see, and they could see it thanks to the exploration with the Ikigai. Explore, get some self-awareness, some self-knowledge. It's about getting to know yourself better. Is there something I'm sort of hiding myself or a little bit denying? Is there this long time childhood dream locked somewhere inside of me? Am I checking, is there anything there that can be worth seeing? And so the idea is to go beyond those limiting beliefs to access who you truly are. So this is the point of the exploration. And also my biggest invitation, I guess, is use it to take action. You know, it's amazing to get awareness, but then we want to get somewhere. No, we want to take that first step. Even if, you know, we're going to turn, it's not going to be a linear necessarily, a linear path, but taking that first step towards your goal, towards your action, get some clarity on the why, and set that direction, and then you'll adjust along the way. Nothing is set in stone. So yes, so and also yes, I really like this little, to finish this little visual thing. It shows different aspects, and the Ikigai, you can see, is just at the end, which is an invitation to stay active, to take it slow, to live in the moment, as in to see maybe life and the purpose of life as a bigger thing, as something that you build maybe in everything that you do. So I like that image to sort of finish. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope that wasn't too long. I'm going to stop the recording now so we can get chatting.